Yeah.
Welcome back to the GTM Podcast. Doing a solo episode this time. I'm going to make it short and sweet. Last week's episode, we had to cancel it on account of the fact that I wasn't feeling that great. Last week I got my second COVID shot, and I was not feeling all that great after. Tremendous headaches. I wasn't feeling all that great, so I had to postpone it for a little bit. But I'm back now. The guys will be in the next episode, swear on my life. So here we are, back with another episode of the GTM Podcast, the official podcast that nobody listens to. Some quick updates for some things going on in the gaming world. Battlefield 2042 got delayed to November 19th. So, anybody who's looking forward to that release, go ahead and get angry. Or be hopeful, whichever you please. I'm a little upset. I'm not gonna pretend like, this was gonna be a perfect launch. You just kind of gotta take it as it comes, Typically every Battlefield game has had bugs at launch, and everybody who's ever said, oh well, would you rather have a bad game at launch? I'm like, I haven't played a fucking game that was fantastic at launch. I don't care how many times they push it back, it just doesn't fucking happen. Very rare that you find a game that is launched in a perfect state. Very rare, if that. So the last thing I want is for anybody to say, oh, what would you rather have? Because it's just it's not a fucking fair argument now, is it? Battlefield 2042 being delayed was a pretty big, upset. Seeing as, we were only a few days away from a beta, that sucks. Now we're, how many weeks away are we from a beta? We are now looking at a beta of October 4th, I believe. I think that's the time frame that they set for the beta, was October 4th. Could be wrong, but, personally, I believe if you wanted to do a beta for 2042, just as a, little, just as a suggestion, I would personally have a couple betas before the launch. Because not only do people want to play your game at the time that you had scheduled it to release for like the past 4 months or so, but the problem being is that you realize that there were problems that only people who were in the technical preview got to play, which was not very. I'm not gonna say it wasn't fair, because it was fair to people who signed up for technical previews for like a long time, but if you're going to do any sort of like test with the public, you could say we're going to do closed betas for people who pre-order up until this month, and when this month starts, we'll do open betas. And you don't have to make it like, oh, it's closed beta for like the entire fucking month. No, you can do like closed beta weekends, just have like set times where you can have a closed beta, and then after a short period of time, you can say, all right, the beta is now a open beta weekend this coming Friday, whatever the fuck. And you can have open beta weekend so people can test the game and give player feedback. Basically, just have people test it. You could just have one fucking map, like they did with the technical preview. Just do one map. Allow only a few guns. Don't give everything away, but allow people to play a little bit, so that way they get a good understanding of what the progress you're making is. That is just my 2 cents. I'm sure everybody will shit all over my opinion and say, why the fuck would we be allowed to play such an early access game? Why people just form their opinions based on the early access? That's, people who form an opinion on a game when it's not finished are kind of fucking dumb. If you think about it, a game releases in early access, and they're allowing people to pay for it and play it. There is a very strict disclaimer that says, this is a technical preview for our non-finished fucking game. There will be bugs, there will be glitches, and there will be things that are not ready yet. So be prepared for that. However, this is a good way for the community to play what we have ready, and to give us feedback for the official release, so that way we have things we can work on and things that we can either say, well, we should probably not do that, and this is what we should replace it with. That's kind of the whole idea of a technical preview / early access / beta, is to test it out, see how people like it, what can we improve on. That's my whole entire, that's the gist of technical previews, early access, and betas. That's just how it should fucking be. So, I don't like that they pushed it back. They only pushed it back by like 3 weeks if you really look at the calendar release. So, I'm not too upset about it. What I don't understand, though, is like, they needed to push it back, right? Because the official release was going to be October 15th for people who pre-ordered, and then October 22nd for people who did not pre-order. So they pushed it back to October 19th. So if you didn't pre-order and you were waiting for the October 22nd release, you're waiting about another month. But if you pre-ordered, like, let's say, like, they push it back and you pre-order, fucking now. Or let's say you pre-ordered October 22nd, since, you have that extra time slot. You'd be able to play on October 12th. So, that's the reason why I'm saying, like, they only pushed it back by, like, 3 weeks. Because, really, it's only going that far. So, I don't really understand, the whole idea for pushing it back. I guess, there's some things they can work on within a 3-week time frame, if that makes any sense. I guess. But, look, I've come to terms with the fact that they've pushed it back. I don't like it. I come to terms with it. Moving on. They pushed back Dying Light. Personally, I was never really fucking jumping out of my seat ready for that fucking game, and I wasn't. I like the first one. The first one was okay. Second one, I'll play it. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not like, holy shit, the second Dying Light is coming out. I mean, what sucks is that we're at a point where game releases aren't as fucking, there's not many games coming out that I'm really excited about. Besides Battlefield, really. And, a few other, indie developer games or games that nobody's really heard of, Spider-Man 2's trailer dropped. That was pretty cool. Looks like I have to finally buy a PS5 if I can fucking get one. The Logan game made by Marvel Studios is coming out at some point. That's going to be cool. Let's see. They're bringing the most recent, not the one that's coming out soon, but the most recent God of War game to PC. That's awesome. I like that. It sucks. We're at kind of like a drought, I mean, I'm sure that there's other games that people are excited for. Just for me personally, we're at a drought period where there's not many games that interest me at the moment where we actually have some good and really cool information about them yet. So I'm kind of sitting here waiting. It makes sense. I get it, but I wish that we didn't have to wait so long. Battlefield is really the main thing that I'm really waiting on, but can't really get what you want all the time. So let's see. In a non-game related news segment, there was a bit of sad news that came out of this week. Not many people, I'm not gonna say not many people, I'm sure a good amount of people, around the age of 20 or so know who this Norm Macdonald is, and he passed away recently. He was one of my favorite comedians of all time. He was my dad's favorite. My dad introduced me to Norm Macdonald's comedy, and it's just, he has a very dry sense of humor where it's a very, he'll tell really long stories, and at the end there's the punchline. It was all this build up for nothing really, and I find humor in that, and I find it funny. He does a lot of really fucking funny jokes. I mean, he was one of those comedians that I watch, and I don't expect all this, there's not a lot of fucking pizzazz, or there's not all these, there's not a lot of showmanship with Norm Macdonald. He's very cut and dry, and it's hilarious to me, and I love it. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time. One of my favorite jokes he ever did was on his podcast. His podcast called Norm Macdonald Live. I think before then it was called Norm Macdonald Has a Show. But on his podcast, it was fucking hilarious. He goes through a bunch of jokes, and some people find it funny, some people don't. But my favorite joke that he ever did on there was, in my opinion, if the United States wants to start the war on terror, the best place to start would be this nation's haunted houses. And I fucking love that joke. It's so fucking funny. He does a lot of other ones, like, when somebody rings the doorbell, why do dogs always run up to the door? It's almost always never for them. He also had a lot of SNL stuff. He was like one of the biggest SNL guys. He had a section on SNL called the Weekend Update, where he would just go through stories that happened throughout that week, and he'd turn them into jokes. He had a real big thing with O.J. Simpson. He would always tell O.J. jokes, and kind of the reason why he got fired from SNL was because he kept telling O.J. jokes, and the guy heading the whole fucking SNL thing was getting pissed off at him for doing it, so he fired him. And I think that was a big mistake, because Norm Macdonald's hilarious. But I hope his family's doing all right. I hope, we can find some solace in knowing that he's in a better place, and hope he's making wherever he went laugh. Wherever he goes from here, I hope he's making wherever that is. If there's people there, making them laugh, because goddamn it, was he hilarious. Back onto the news section of games. World War III is another game I'm looking forward to. Very not known by many people, but they're releasing like clips of like their upcoming release for the free to play game on PC. Releasing some new content videos, like showing like character customization, showing off like vehicle customization and stuff like that. And I'm excited for it. I played World War III when it was released like 2 or 3 years ago. It was like a year or two ago, and I really enjoyed it. It had some bugs, had some kinks to be worked out. Was definitely not a solid game, but it was fun. It was a new take, not really new, but it was a fresh game in a video game genre that really hadn't gotten much attention recently. I mean, you could say COD always gets a new game every year or two, and that's true, but to me, Call of Duty is kind of just recycled content over and over and over again, and it's not that great. I mean, the only reason why I bought Modern Warfare was because it was Modern Warfare, and I grew up playing Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2, so it wasn't, I mean, I didn't grow up with them, but like when I was in middle school, they were kind of like the big things, so I played them when I was in middle school. Beyond that, though, Battlefield releases a game every like 4 years or so, something like that. It takes a long time for a new Battlefield game to come out, so after Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, I was like choking, just hoping and praying that we would get something good from DICE, just a brand new Battlefield game that wasn't fucking stuck in the past. I get it, World War I. Nobody has really done it before. I'm sure somebody has. I'm not that well versed in the fucking FPS genre, so I'm sure there's a World War I game out there somewhere, but it's not as recent as that. That's like if you say World War I FPS game, most people will say Battlefield 1, so I wasn't a huge fan. I thought that, I want a modern day FPS game. That's the reason why I want to play FPS, is because I want to fuck around with guns that exist today that I can't in real life, because either I don't have enough money, or I just can't fucking, get a gun like that in the United States. I just can't get a fucking fully automatic M4 or a fucking fully automatic Vector or whatever. Just can't get that shit. But with Battlefield, I got that pleasure of huge open maps, vehicles, squad play, enemy spotting, and everything, and it was great. I loved it. And Call of Duty was really just for those people like, I want to play 2 or 3 matches and be done in an hour. It has its market. I don't hate COD. I'm not a huge fan of the COD games. I'm just not a huge fan of them. Like, I'll play Modern Warfare, but that's about it. That's my extent of COD. Then Battlefield 5 was, World War II, and that game's still in the shitter, so I don't even know why they said, let's go to World War II. I don't know who at fucking DICE was like, hey guys, great idea. You know what's never been done before, like a million times? World War II FPS games. Let's just make our own. Okay, cool. You fucked it up though, but great. No Man's Sky had their Frontiers update, and it was fantastic. I love it. It's amazing. If you have not tried No Man's Sky since the release of the game, fucking give it a try. What are you doing? Give it a try. Jesus Christ, they've updated that game to the point of where you don't start the game you start the game in the same way, but it's not as simple as it was before. Like, I remember when you first started No Man's Sky, you spawn on a random planet, right? And your ship is right next to you, and this little thing that tells you, like, you have to go and repair your ship. It's kind of the same thing, but this time you start in a random area, and your ship is nowhere to be seen, so you have to get your suit fixed up so you can scan the environment to find your ship. And then now there's a story, and now there's the anomaly with multiplayer functionality, and there's portals in which you can go to, all over Reddit. There's people who are like, oh man, this planet was awesome, here's the glyphs for the planet, and you can just enter the portal glyphs and go to that planet without having to fucking go throughout the entire galaxy trying to find that one dot that this has been discovered by fucking this guy. No. Portals, man. Portals. So yeah, give No Man's Sky a shot. If you haven't played it since release and you did not like it at release, definitely give it a shot now. It's the perfect time to give it a shot. What else? Let me look through. Xbox has added to Game Pass for PC, at least cloud gaming. So if you like Xbox 360 classics that have been added to the cloud gaming section, like Skate 3, you can play Skate 3 on your PC with Xbox Cloud Gaming now. That's pretty cool. You can also play Halo 5 on PC now with cloud gaming. Keep in mind, cloud gaming does not mean you're downloading Halo 5 to your PC. You're playing on a Xbox One console that is being broadcast to your PC. So you don't have to own an Xbox One for this to happen, but you're going to be playing basically on a network connection. So if you don't have the greatest internet, you're not going to have the greatest experience. It's just kind of like an option. But I digress. If you want it, they offer it. Let's see. Steam. Let's see what's going on in Steam. Any new things with Steam? The THQ sales going on Steam right now. The THQ official weekend, where you can get games made by THQ for a certain percentage off. Like, you can get Biomutant for $40. Personally, I wouldn't spend more than $30 on it. Destroy All Humans, you can get it right now for $10. A game called Wreckfest for $15. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, you can get that for $15. Elex 2, that's coming soon, I guess. But either way, check out the Steam sale for THQ. Some good games on there, I'm sure. Personally, like I said, wouldn't spend more than $30 on Biomutant, so if you can find it somewhere cheaper, then do that. Not much else to go based off of. I mean, most of the news coming out of this week was really based on Battlefield's delay for whatever fucking reason. There is one small snippet of news to anybody who's interested in the game that was announced recently called The Day Before. Let me go to their website, because they've been doing teases all fucking all week, really, for, we're the release date's gonna happen soon. The release date's gonna happen. So let me go to their Twitter real quick just to see if they're talking about anything recently. No, they're still talking about the fucking mega event. Like, I get it. We don't know when the mega event is gonna fucking happen. I mean, they just keep saying this September, and it's currently the 18th of September, so what the fuck is it? Just curious. Might be wrong, but personally, I would hope. Oh, there's the trailer happening. That's fantastic. You ruined the podcast. Shitty fucking videos. Yep, there's people all over the comments right now saying an announcement for an announcement. Fantastic. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Like, the game, it looks great. I'm really hoping for the best. Some people were saying some things that I did happen to agree with, though. Saying that it reminds them of the War Z, which was a cash grab game that was released on Steam. Basically marketed as like easy to run DayZ, which I was really excited for, because at the time when I bought it, I had a laptop that couldn't run video games for shit. So when I heard that there's a game that can be run basically on anything, and it's DayZ, holy shit, sign me up. I can't wait. And then I played it, and it's just god awful. I wouldn't have my worst enemy play that game for 2 minutes, because that's just too torturous. So anyway, I think I've gone through all of the news that really needs to be talked about this week. There will more than likely be some more news coming up recently, or coming up in the coming weeks, about any information on Battlefield, some more information on the day before, hopefully, if the developers can get their heads out of their ass and actually start doing some fucking PR. But, you just gotta wait at this moment. So, thank you all for listening to the very quick episode of the GTM Podcast. If you'd like to head on over to soundcloud.com/the GTM Podcast, you can see every episode that's been uploaded for an audio version. If you go to youtube.com/the GTM Podcast, you can see every single version of the podcast that has been uploaded to video format. I just realized I fucked up. It's not every version, it's every episode. Sorry about that. Every episode that's been uploaded to YouTube is a video format. You can go to the GTM Podcast.squarespace.com, where you can see the About Us section. We can read up on every single host of the podcast. You can also go to the GTM guest page, where you can see everybody who's been a part of the podcast and the episodes that they were in. And you can check out the GTM episodes tab, where you can see every episode and its audio counterpart right next to each other in not alphabetical order. I'm retarded. In numerical order. Any other information? You can listen to us on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, you type in the GTM Podcast, you will see a picture of our logo and a very shitty white background behind it, because I can't figure out how to get rid of it. So there you go. If you want all of that, you can do all that. Fantastic. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope that you have a great week, and we will see you next Friday for the continuation of the GTM Podcast with our 20th episode. See ya.